I'm sending this directly to Brett Watson.
Jerry does a really good job. He's a
I can't say anything about the little road.
It says before the IDB, but it doesn't say anything about Murray Live.
I did, or is it after IDB?
Yeah, usually we're right after. Yeah. Okay. Item 6.
Good, I'll let him field all the cheating questions.
Big leads out. Hey man, what's going on? You all right? We're good. You're welcome.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I have 5:30, so I'm going to call tonight's meeting to order. Before I call the actual city council meeting to order, however, we do have two public hearings that we'll go through, and then we'll enter into our regular city council meeting for tonight, Thursday, October 12th, 2023. So, public hearings. Public hearing number one. Public hearing on ordinance number 4476 as amended relates to item 10.2 on the agenda. An ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget ordinance number 4464, providing for revisions to the general state street aid, drug, sanitation, capital projects, and wastewater funds. That's public hearing number one. Anyone in the audience wish to be heard this evening on public hearing number one? Seeing none, anyone on council wish to be heard on public hearing number one? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to close public hearing number one. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that motion to close? Hearing none, we will take the vote. Public hearing number one is now closed. Number two, public hearing on ordinance number 4479 relating to item 10.4 on the agenda, an ordinance to amend ordinance 4400, the zoning ordinance of the city of Columbia, by revising the Arden Village master plan at tax map 51, parcels 2 and 2.05, located off Nashville Highway and Arden Village Drive. That's public hearing number two. Anyone in the audience this evening wish to be heard on public hearing number two? Seeing none, anyone on council wish to be heard on public hearing number two? Hearing none, entertain a motion to close public hearing number two.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, we will call the vote. Public hearing number two is now closed. Thank you. Okay, now we will call to order our City Council regular meeting for this October 12th, 2023. I would like to welcome all the visitors who are currently watching on YouTube live stream, and also a special welcome to our visitors in the audience this evening who are here for a couple of different presentations. We'll begin with the roll call.
Mr. Coleman?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall?
Here.
Mrs. Wiles?
Here.
Vice Mayor McBroom?
Here.
Mayor Mulder?
Here, let the record reflect all members of council are present. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Steve Douglas of Riverside United Methodist Church to provide tonight's invocation and ask all of you who are able to please stand for the invocation and to please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilmember Tony Green.
Let us pray. Most gracious and loving God, it's a privilege, Lord, to come together with these of like mind and, Lord, to discuss the well-being of the Columbia area. And we thank you, dear God, for this city and all it's about, and for those that are willing to serve. We pray now, dear God, that you'd be with us through this meeting. Those that are divided might be united. Those that are separated, Lord, might be brought together. And, Lord, that we might be of one mind to do your work for these, the community people. And, God, we do again thank you for this day, this beautiful day you've given us. And may you bless each one that's come this way. And we'll thank you in the precious and holy name of Jesus. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, now on item 4, approval of agenda. We have our agenda this evening, which has been modified slightly relative to putting item 5.1 at the top relative to a resolution, and then a couple deferrals that we will get to with official deferral action later in the agenda. But we are on the approval agenda under item 4. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that motion to approve? Hearing none, we will take the vote.
Councilwoman, how would you vote?
All right, that item is approved 7-0. The suspense on that one was tough, but we made it. We made it. All right. We are on item 5.1, resolution number 2373, a resolution dedicating Fire Station 3 located at 705 Firefighters Drive in honor of the late former City of Columbia Mayor Barbara Earwood McIntyre. And I see a number of Mayor McIntyre's family in the audience this evening. And I was thinking today, knowing that this was on tonight's agenda, just about the fact that good things come to those who wait. And many of the family are in the room when we had a similar presentation to honor Mayor McIntyre. But I believe this happens to be something even more meaningful for the former mayor, someone who I was fortunate enough to know as a kid. And I've told the story enough to where you've probably heard it by now. I'm sure my daughter would probably tell me not to tell it again. But because my daughter happens to be friends with an individual in the audience this evening, I'll just tell it again, but I'll give the condensed version that Mayor McIntyre really in large part is the reason that I sort of, as a kid, had a seed planted to want to get involved in public service. When I was the student body president at Columbia Central High School, I decided that there needed to be a sign on James Campbell Parkway, right at Line Parkway, to point towards Columbia Central High School, thinking that visitors to town needed to know where our county's flagship high school is located if they're coming in off the bypass. So I just picked up the phone and called Mayor McIntyre. And somehow or the other, she took the call. We had a good talk, and the very next day, a sign was placed in that location right where I had called and asked her about. And it made me feel as though, even as a young person, that our mayor listened to us, which is another reason why, as mayor, I have always had an obligation, a sense of duty to the younger generation, because I know what Mayor McIntyre meant to me in my life, and I would like to have a similar impact on one of those younger kids, because she certainly had an impact on me. But so that's my Mayor McIntyre story. But I was also looking through, just trying to come up with something a little bit different to say about her for this. And I happened to look at the Daily Herald article from 2016 that provided coverage to Mayor McIntyre's passing away. And there were a few folks quoted in that article that I was just going to read a couple of those quotes. First is Eddie Abels. She was just a true Southern lady who loved the city of Columbia and Murray County. She's what made our family strong, instilled our Christian faith and the importance of family. She wanted to make the community a better place for everyone. There was another quote by city manager Tody Massey, who described her as being a good mayor and a better person who put Columbia first, second, and third. She was a fine person, Massey said. Talking to some of the department heads that were here when she served, she was always trying to make things better and keep Columbia always in her heart. Vice Mayor Krista Martin, at the time, who was appointed by Mayor McIntyre to serve an unexpired term on the city council in 92, said that McIntyre worked with every department to show each employee they were valuable and their services were top of the line. Then finally, the comment again by her son-in-law, she was a lady strong in her values and believed in doing what was right for the people in the community. She put her community and the citizens first. She was a person that you admired from the day you first met her. And I think all those words are very true about the woman that we know to be Mayor McIntyre, who blazed so many trails in this community. And I know I speak for all of council when I say it's an honor for us to be a part of this council that gets to have some small role in honoring her life and legacy and her commitment to the city of Columbia and all of its people. So that's item 5.1. I believe before we have a motion, or we'll have to do a motion in a second, and then maybe some additional discussion. So I will make the motion to approve item 5.1. It's been properly seconded by Councilmember Tony Green. Any discussion on this item? Vice Mayor.
Well, I hate to show my age a little bit on this. The Mayor McIntyre, the first thing comes in my mind is when I was young, going out to the Holiday Inn, Friday afternoons, the best time. And everybody who's older knows those days. But I always said Mayor Dickey got me started, but no, it was Mayor McIntyre that got me started in the city because she put me on my first board. And here I went from the advisory board of the construction now up to here to vice mayor. And I always remember she treated me so nice and kind, and she always had her smile on her face, and I loved the family. Thank y'all.
All right, any other member of council? Councilmember Wiles.
If you think you're going to show your age, Vice Mayor McBroom, I'm speaking now. I look back there and I cannot tell you the joy it brings me to see that family sitting there. Barbara was a wonderful lady, in and out county, city work, back and forth, but she was always accessible. She had a family that was second to none. They're friends of my children sitting there, Vice Mayor and Mayor Mulder, that you know well, and we made it through those days, fine young people now, and I just love that family so much. A tear came to my eye, but I did send Brent the quick picture, and he's already sent back his congratulations to you all, and we're just, it's an honor, and excited about this tonight. It just gives, I'm sorry, the words I meant to say, the longevity of this family in this community, and it just contributes to the very reasons why from the first time we walked into this community, we still love it so much, and I can't say enough. And between you and Vice Mayor, it goes on, and it looks like they're going to carry on in the future too.
Yes, the family seems to be very strong from this vantage point. The two more things. One picture in my mind that I always have of Mayor McIntyre is sitting behind the dais at City Council chambers, where the police department conference room is now, or conference center, whatever that big room is where the former City Council chambers were. But seeing her sitting behind this with those earrings, those gold earrings on, that when the photo and the flash at the earrings, it was shining, and sometimes all you could see is the shine and not even her. But that photo is always ingrained in my head for sure when I think of her. But also, it did dawn on me, Councilmember Wiles, when you said about the family, because it is true that we're here tonight to honor someone who meant a lot to this community, who served this community. But I believe one of those results, or continuing sort of results of her service, is the family that she leaves behind, who are active and involved in this community today. Who are doing things on a daily basis to make the community a better place. So not only is this an honor to her, I hope the family, including particularly the younger members of the family, will know that this is also an honor to them as well. And so we honor not just her, but all of you tonight. And we hope that you will join us after this is voted on in the well for a photo. We also hope that you'll come back for another event when we have the ability to unveil the sign at the fire station. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Tischer.
I guess I'm the only one up here that actually got to serve with Mayor McIntyre. I had the privilege of becoming city attorney when she was mayor, and enjoyed each and every day of it. So I did want to recognize her and recognize the family, because I certainly thought a lot of Mayor McIntyre and enjoyed serving with her.
All right. We'll let the city attorney have the last word on that. So we've had a motion and second. We will now call the vote on item 5.1. Another very suspenseful vote. I will ask Councilmember Hardison, how do you vote? She votes yes. So now that she has made her vote known, we will be able to all make our votes known, hopefully, for... We're going to take a roll call. Thank you.
Aye. Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Aye. Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. I would imagine that there was some technology that probably didn't go great when she was mayor as well. It just looks a little different now, I guess. But if the family would join us in the well with council, we'd like to take a photo. And if there's any member of family that would like to maybe provide a comment or two, we certainly would welcome that.
Do we go in front of this thing? She's with me. And this one's a mile
I'm
from
just
me.
now recognizing you have blonde hair. I looked up and said,
Hey, how are you? Did y'all like just get back?
They're not even home yet.
They're not home yet?
I'll be here, so good to see y'all.
Oh, wait. Do y'all need, Aunt Janet and Uncle Johnny need to be right there?
Okay, yeah, okay.
We've met, actually. I believe we have.
Y'all move down a little bit.
Hey,
Oh, well, we'll
Uncle Johnny needs to be beside you.
That's okay.
I've met some.
Where do you want us?
Of course, we want to. Okay.
We got a crowd.
Come over here.
Can you get us? Do we need to move?
Good.
Any member of the family want to say something?
They're trying to push me, but that is no.
If I would.
Let's just take a quick selfie.
Johnny. To all the council, on the behalf of Barbara Earwood McIntyre, we appreciate this, and I've often said that if everyone had a mother-in-law like Barbara, there wouldn't be any mother-in-law jokes. She is top, but we really appreciate this.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you, everyone.
I love y'all.
Okay, love you. We're all bashful, we don't talk. Okay, I'll try.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your indulgence in that. We'll now be back on the agenda for item 5.2, quarterly presentation by Will Evans, President of Murray County Chamber and Economic Alliance. Mr. Evans, you're here. I see you. Come on up. Thank you for being here. And for this presentation, you will have the floor.
Good evening. Got a brief presentation. You guys have a few slides that I'll reference, but also some additional points. If you do click on that and go on to the past the title slide, I'll start off with some good news tonight that I'm sure you're all aware of, but be happy to give you the details that we have on our most recent announcement that came out last week that is just outside the city limits of Columbia, but their address is Columbia, so we'll claim it. SGB Enterprises did announce the relocation of not just their headquarters to Columbia and Murray County, but also the expansion of their design and manufacturing operations. They are located on Spontex Drive, just off of Highway 7, past the entrance of Mersin or former Graphtech site out there. The company specializes in designing and manufacturing procedural training systems, flight simulators, maintenance trainers, and other simulated avionics and control components for the aerospace industry. So simply put, it's a mock-up of a cockpit of various aircraft, helicopter, not necessarily to the point where you're going to actually be doing flight simulation, computer-led, but you're going to practice control procedures in an emergency situation of which switches to push and pull when and in what sequence. So very, very specific mock-ups and specs. So with that comes some very technical jobs associated with that. They're investing $1.7 million in creating 40 new jobs. The best part of this announcement, and is right in the sweet spot of that strike zone that we, I believe the last time we were here, Travis Groth, our Economic Development Vice President, presented those findings. And if you remember, looking at the aggregate of all the stakeholders that participated in that, the top three criteria that they would consider a successful economic development project was high wages or high quality jobs, which this absolutely satisfied, industry diversification, and then also appropriate use of site and infrastructure. So this is an existing building that had been sitting vacant for quite a long time. And then from their infrastructure needs, this is not a heavy water, this is not going to have a strain on the infrastructure system within the county. So it's a fantastic win. And we're excited to have them here and excited to be able to speak publicly about them. They've been here for a little while operating, but the announcement just lagged a little bit. Going to the next slide, you'll see our economic development dashboard. I will hit just on a few points on that. The top, you'll see our active projects, active pipeline remains strong. The project breakdown off to the right is actually a little heavier on the expansions. Typically, we see 85% relocation, 15% expansion, 80-20. We've got a few higher existing industries expanding as well, which is always a positive. Then you'll see the sector breakdown to the far right continues to be diverse as well. Moving down to the second, really wanted to, everything is kind of on par. The unemployment rate has kind of ebbed and flowed from low 3s to high 2s over the last year or two. Now we're still in there at 3%. The only item to note is if you look at the housing prices, the median rent is up just a little bit from $1,381 this time last year. However, the home price actually has decreased for about 8%. This time last year was $416,000 median home price. So again, just kind of indicative of what we're seeing in the housing market. Nothing to be alarmed with. Just that's where we've seen some of the most notable changes there. And then I'll stay on this slide and just mention a few more items that we have going on, and then I'll take questions. Expect to see a more formal announcement from our organization next week, but we did welcome a new employee last week as well. Elizabeth Gallegos has filled our events and member services manager position. So she will be overseeing the creation and management of all of our events, as well as some of the assistance with some of our various member services that we offer. So she has done a fantastic job in the first 2 weeks. So expect to see more communications coming from her regarding our events. And then October is Manufacturing Month, and I believe this week may be considered Manufacturing Week as well, but we like to celebrate the month. And so we have been pleased. I believe this is our 4th time that we've partnered with Murray County Public Schools, Columbia State Community College. So on Friday, October 27th, we will be alongside those two organizations hosting the CTE students from Murray County Public Schools to tour various manufacturing facilities across the county, specifically J.C. Ford here in Columbia, GCP Applied Technologies, and Fuel Total Systems in Mount Pleasant, to give them interaction with the manufacturing operations of today. Our organization will be hosting a lunch at Columbia State Community College, where they'll be hearing a presentation from Ultium Cells about the types of jobs that are available out there and what they do. Obviously, they're under construction. They weren't able to host a tour at this time, but they've got a really good presentation that talks about what they do and the types of jobs that are associated with that, as well as Columbia State Community College will be highlighting their engineering systems technology program and the opportunities that has to transition into high-paying jobs. And then finally, just a save the date, if you haven't seen the invite already, Halloween, the morning of Tuesday, October 31st at 8 a.m., we'll be having our final Breakfast with the Mayor series with your very own Mayor Mulder and friends. We've expanded it at actually Mayor's suggestion and include both Paul Keltner and Kelly Murphy to talk a little bit about the growth that's happening in the city and the great tourism and marketing efforts that's going on. So please, if you have not RSVP'd and wish to attend, reach out to our office and we can take care of that for you. With that, I'll take questions.
And that is a costume event, right, Ms. Will?
I haven't been told yet. So.
Thank you for that presentation. I think costumes are welcome, and maybe if we want to, we could come up with something creative. But I do also thank you for your indulgence on that with the Breakfast with the Mayor. I felt like maybe involving some others might be good, and so hopefully if you're able to attend, please do. It should be a good conversation and discussion. And so save the date for Halloween. We'll have breakfast for the last installment of the Breakfast with the Mayor. Also, Will, kudos on the SGB announcement. You basically said everything that I wanted to highlight on that project on why that was such a win for Columbia and Murray County as a whole. I think that, of course, we like jobs announcements of all kind, and we certainly celebrate them. But, in this market that we're currently in, sometimes the quality is just as important as the quantity. And here, when you look at the wage jobs and the diversification of industry that you mentioned, it's just truly a win-win. And so I think it should be noted. And so I know that Columbia will benefit significantly from that, as all of the county will. And so we say thank you for that. Yet another win.
And thank you for that, Mayor. That made me think of one talking point, if I may. So as I was talking about our pipeline, I just wanted to reiterate that we have become very proactive in our response and our processes to responding to various RFPs early on. Again, we've implemented that feedback that we receive from our stakeholders to the point now where if it's not checking these boxes, we're just simply not responding to that RFP from the state, or letting the state know that that's not one we'll be submitting on. So we're being very proactive with that input that we did receive from you all.
Good stuff. Any other questions for Mr. Evans? All right, hearing none, thank you, Will, for that good report. We'll see you next quarter.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your support.
Thank you. All right, we'll move now to Section 6, Organizational Business. Item 6.1, approve the minutes of the September 14th, 2023 council regular meeting.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, we'll ask Mr. Jablonski to call the vote, please.
Mr. Coleman? Aye. Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles? Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulber?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item section is 7, consent agenda. These are items that are deemed non-controversial, requiring no additional debate or discussion. I will read them collectively, and then we'll vote on them collectively. Item 7.1, approved disbursements for the month of August 2023 in the amount of $5,462,471.73. Item 7.2, approve and authorize the disposal of surplus equipment. Item 7.3, approve the bid award and authorize the mayor to execute a contract with Wayne's Pest Control for pest control services in the amount of $12,000. Item 7.4, approve the price increase from $47.77 to $50.79 per ton for trash disposal with Maury County Solid Waste, with the estimated FY 23-24 cost being $950,000. Item 7.5, approve the $7,255.39 price increase with Cumberland International Trucks for the purchase of a 2024 construction dump truck. 7.6, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and Style Blueprint for a digital holiday campaign in the amount of $7,250. 7.7, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and Journal Communications for advertising in the 2024 Tennessee Vacation Guide in the amount of $5,000. 7.8, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and My Emma by Marigold for email marketing services in the amount of $1,287. Item 7.9, approve reimbursement in the amount of $149,850 to LPT LLC for preliminary acceptance of Greystone subdivision in the City of Columbia, Tennessee. This is Ward 5. Item 7.10, approve the certification of City of Columbia real and personal property tax assessments for the year 2023. 7.11, approve the bid award to MGM Targets of Caldwell, Idaho for the purchase of a 1,200 square foot Simunitions portable shoot house in the amount of $70,799. 7.12, approve the bid award to MGM Targets of Caldwell, Idaho for purchasing a firearms target system in the amount of $54,232. 7.13, approve bid award and execution of contract with N&S Waterproofing LLC for the rehabilitation of the Columbia parking garage in the amount of $675,790. 7.14, approve Rose Hill Cemetery erecting a Tennessee historic marker on city right-of-way. And item 7.15, approve and authorize the mayor to execute addendum number 2 with Neil Schaefer, Inc. for preparing and grading a plan design for the access road at Ridley Sports Complex in the amount of $11,700. This is Ward 4. That is your consent agenda, items 7.1 through 7.15.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski, take the vote.
Mr. Coleman? Aye. Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulber?
Aye, the consent agenda is approved. Next section, 8. Administration, item 8.1, request from Maury County government to waive approximately $60,000 in building permit fees for the expansion of the Maury County Archives building. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Mayor and council members, we received a request from the county government to waive these fees with the archives, the new archives building on 6th Street. If you recall, just last month you approved the use of the city 6th Street right away for them to be able to build on that site as well. So Mr. Pavetti is here in the audience tonight, I think, to answer any questions you might have regarding it. So.
I do note that the County Commission Chairman, Eric Prabetty, is here. Chairman Prabetty, thanks for your presence. I don't know that anyone has any questions on this. Probably we don't, but if you have anything you want to say on it, but
Thank you for your cooperation.
and we did this as well for the Justice Center.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the request is noted, and now we'll make it official, Mr. Chairman, by entertaining a motion by Mr. Marshall, seconded by Mr. Green. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski, take the vote, please.
Mr. Coleman? Aye. Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving on now to resolutions. Item 9.1, Resolution 2372, a resolution to accept the streets and drainage improvements in Baker Landing subdivision for ownership and maintenance. Moved and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman? Aye. Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.2, Resolution 2375, to accept the streets and drainage improvements in Taylor Landing subdivision Phase 1A for ownership and maintenance.
Move for approval.
Moved and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.3, Resolution 2376, a resolution to accept the streets and drainage improvements in Taylor Landing subdivision Phase 1B for ownership and maintenance.
Move for approval.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.4, Resolution 2377, to accept a donation of one Commander smoke machine remote control and one 25-foot cable with a combined value of $220 from Froggy's Frogs to be used by Columbia Fire and Rescue. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.5, Resolution number 2378, a resolution to accept the streets and drainage improvements in Valley View subdivision for ownership and maintenance. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Aye. Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.6, Resolution 2379, tax corrections. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.7, Resolution 2380, to ratify the acceptance of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office 2324 Highway Safety Grant for $20,000 and authorize the mayor to execute documents relating to accepting and administering the grant. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. And final item, 9.8, Resolution 2382, authorizing the issuance and sale of water system revenue anticipation notes of the City of Columbia, making provision for the issuance, sale, and payment of said notes, establishing the terms thereof and the disposition of the proceeds therefrom, providing for the collection and disposition of revenues from the water system of the City of Columbia, Tennessee, and making provisions for the operation of said system. Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion on 9.8? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Marshall?
Aye, that item is approved. Next, Section 10, Ordinances. Item 10.1, second consideration of ordinance number 4476, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 23-24 budget ordinance 4464, providing for revisions to the general state street aid, drug, sanitation, capital projects, and wastewater funds.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison?
Aye.
Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.2, second consideration of Ordinance 4477 to amend Title 18, Chapter 2, Sections 18282 and 18295F of the Columbia Municipal Code by adding a paragraph to Title 18, Chapter 2, same sections in its entirety, and replacing such section with the new title, chapter, and section. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, we'd like to ask council to defer this action till next month, and also the next ordinance, 10.3 as well, till November.
All right. So regarding 10.2, there's been a request coming from staff to defer this to the November agenda. Therefore, I'll make a motion to defer to the November agenda. Properly seconded. Any discussion on 10.2's request for deferral? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that deferral is approved. The next item, 10.3, second consideration of ordinance 4478 to add Title 18, Chapter 1, Section 18106 to the Columbia Municipal Code pertaining to sewers. We heard from the city manager the request coming from staff for a deferral to the November agenda, so I will make that motion. Properly seconded. Any discussion on the deferral motion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, the deferral is approved. Next item, 10.4, second consideration of ordinance 4479 to amend ordinance 4400, the zoning ordinance by revising the Arden Village PUD master plan at tax map 51 parcels 2 and 2.05 located off Nashville Highway in Arden Village. This is Ward 5.
Move to approve.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on item 10.4? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.5, second consideration of ordinance 4480 to abandon a right-of-way located at 201 East 6th Street and authorize the conveyance thus of such property to Murray County, Tennessee.
Move to approve.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on item 10.5? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.6, second consideration of ordinance 4481, an ordinance to amend Title 7 of the Columbia Municipal Code by adding Chapter 7, Section 7-701, enacting training fees upon outside entities utilizing the Columbia Fire Academy. Moved and properly seconded. Item 10.6. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.7. First consideration on ordinance 4482, an ordinance to amend ordinance 4400, the zoning ordinance of the city by rezoning tax map 100M Group C, parcel 18, located off West 18th Street from Light Industrial Special District to General Urban Character District and established November 9, 2023 as the date of public hearing. This is Ward 4. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on item 10.7? Hearing none, we will ask Mr. Jablonski to take the vote.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall? Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, that item is approved. Next and final item, 10.8, first consideration of ordinance 4483, an ordinance to amend ordinance 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance by rezoning a portion of tax map 51 parcel 58 located off Nashville Highway and Honey Farm Way from Planning and Development Commercial Enterprise General to General Urban Corridor Character District and established November 9, 2023 as the date of public hearing. This is Ward 5. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, the applicant has sent an email requesting this to be deferred this evening.
All right. We have a request from the applicant for a deferral. I will make the motion for deferral in that case. Been moved and probably seconded. Any discussion on the deferral motion? Councilmember Hardison.
The applicant said he would like to meet with staff and the mayor to discuss it, and if any other council members would like to do so, we can schedule that as well.
My sense is that they're probably going to try to figure out a way to, address concerns that maybe were discussed at the study session. So that's why I support the deferral. Give that opportunity. Any other discussion on the motion to defer? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski, take the vote, please.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall,
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye. That item is deferred to the November City Council meeting. All right. Other business, section 11. If any member of council wishes to be heard, a couple things. There is the employee fall picnic on Wednesday, October 18th at Riverwalk Park from 11 to 1. We hope to see everybody there. I know we touched on this last week at the study session, but we touched on Fall Fest and the success that event was. And since we're on record tonight, I wanted to just once again say a special thank you to everyone that was involved in making that event such a success, including Kelly Johnson and the Main Street Board of Directors, including the Columbia Kiwanis Club, who is a very value-add participant and partner in that, and also including all of our departments. I think this event, in some way, shape, or form, probably touched all of our departments in the city in some way, and so. We know that those events don't just happen. They happen because of the good hard work that's happening behind the scenes to pull them off. And so it was a resounding success by all accounts. I'm looking forward to that even being bigger and better next year. And now it's hard to believe that we transition from that into planning for a holiday season, which will be here before we know it. I know that the team is busy working on that. Any other member of council wish to be heard? Mr. Coleman? Mr. Massey.
We did not put it on the agenda because we're keeping our fingers crossed that the statues come in time of James and Sarah Polk, and if they do, we'll schedule an event November 3rd. With our fingers crossed, right? And we'll let you know. If we can't get it coordinated and get it in by November 3rd, we will be doing it in November sometime.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilmember Wiles.
we certainly want to be in presence when you get to speak to Mary Lyons, but we did not receive any kind of an email or notice about that. Is it in the chamber announcement? He's gone. We'll find out.
I actually have not seen it.
Okay, we want to be sure we hadn't missed
I don't
something.
think we've been sending anything because we would usually forward it to you when we get it.
But Halloween.
It's breakfast or what?
Breakfast.
Breakfast. Okay.
All right. No other member of council wish to be heard. Councilmember Marshall.
Yes, there was something in here that had, the Ridley Park thing had 4 in it, but I think everything's changed over now. Is that correct?
Well, it will change over with the next city election.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
Is that still my area? Okay.
So the wards have been approved subject to the next election,
Yes.
where they
Because-
become effective.
Because they were all elected to represent
The current ward.
Okay.
It would be changing your ward within your term, which would,
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a little bit confusing,
Yeah.
because I've been
It can
telling some
be.
people I'm not representing them more.
well, they're all well represented by you, Mr. Marshall.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, we will entertain a motion to adjourn and move into executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn? It's going to be properly moved by Councilmember Coleman. I'm going to give Mr. Green the second, and no discussion. We will take the vote.
Mr. Coleman? Aye. Mr. Green? Aye. Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles? Vice Mayor McBroom? Mayor Mulder?
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.